Adana's bare feet pounded against the hard earth as she ran through the sacred grove, the amber beads at her waist clinking with every stride. The scent of burning palm oil from the village square told her the ceremony was about to begin. Her stomach twisted. She was to be wed today. Not by choice but by blood. The memory of Chief Obina's words from the night before haunted her. This oath was sworn over your cradle, Adana. Your marriage to Dyke will end generations of bloodshed between Umuoji and Nkwer. Would you have more children orphaned as you were? A twig snapped behind her. Adana whirled, her dagger already in hand. You always were quick with a blade, a familiar voice chuckled. Kenechukwu stepped from the shadows, the fading sunlight catching on the tribal marks that lined his strong jaw. The sight of him made her breath catch. This man from the enemy tribe, the hunter who had saved her life in the forest moons ago, the only person who had ever looked at her and seen Adana, not just a blood oath to be fulfilled. You shouldn't be here, she whispered, though her traitorous heart leaped at his nearness. Kenechukwu's warm fingers brushed hers as he took the dagger. When they light the unity flame tonight, it will be too late. His dark eyes burned with intensity. Come away with me. Now. The forest swallowed them whole as they fled, the sounds of the wedding drums growing faint. Adana's pulse roared in her ears, part fear, part exhilaration. Every step away from Umuoji was treason. Every step toward Kenechukwu felt like coming home. We can go to my mother's people in the north, Kenechukwu said as they paused by a trickling stream. He cupped water in his hands for her to drink. The Igui there owes me a life debt. We'll be safe. Adana studied the man who had haunted her dreams since the day they'd met, when she'd stumbled into his hunting grounds with a gashed leg and more pride than sense. He'd stitched her wound with hands as gentle as they were strong, his teasing smile making her forget the pain. Now those same hands trembled as they brushed a leaf from her hair. I would cross 1,000 battlefields for you, Adana of Umuoji. But only if you choose this path freely. The distant war horn cut through the night. Dyke had discovered her absence. Dyke's warriors found them at dawn. Adana awoke to the cold bite of steel at her throat. Kenechukwu was already on his feet, his bow drawn, but outnumbered 10-1. Did you think you could steal what belongs to me? Dyke emerged from the tree line, his massive frame clad in leopard pelts. The scar running from brow to chin twisted as he smiled. The blood betrothal cannot be broken, woman. Not while I still draw breath. Kenechukwu's arrow never wavered. She is not your property. Dyke laughed, a sound like grinding stones. Then let the ancestors decide. He threw down a leather pouch that spilled black and white pebbles. Trial by divination. If the gods favor you, I'll renounce my claim. If not. His hand rested on the axe at his belt. Adana knew the stories. This ancient rite often ended in death. But as Kenechukwu met her gaze, his nod was steady. They would face this together. As the priest began casting the bones, Adana sent a silent prayer to any god who might be listening. Let our love be stronger than blood. The bones clattered against the sacred stone. The village seer gasped. All present recoiled, the pattern was clear. The gods had spoken. Dyke's face darkened like a storm cloud. Impossible. Kenechukwu pulled Adana close as murmurs spread through the crowd. Even Chief Obina looked shaken. Then a child's voice piped up from the gathered villagers. Look! The marks form the double moon. Indeed, the white pebbles curved like twin crescents, the sign of a union blessed by the ancestors themselves. Dyke's axe flashed in the morning light. I care not for. Enough! Chief Obina's voice cracked like thunder. The gods have decided. The blood betrothal is fulfilled. Just not as we expected. The old chief's eyes glistened as he looked at Adana. Perhaps the ancestors care more for happiness than we realized. 1 year later, Adana stood at the edge of the same forest where she'd first met Kenechukwu. Now their joined hands bore matching scars from the marriage knife, their blood mingling in the soil as the priest chanted. No longer a promise of obligation, but a vow of choice. As Kenechukwu leaned down to brush his lips against hers, Adana knew. Some bonds are stronger than blood.